Hey there, Gel Press fans. Keri here, and today we are going to be playing with 4 techniques to fake watercolor paper. I'm super excited, so let's jump in. So we're going to start out first with acrylic ink. I'm just playing with an 8x10 gel press plate, and we're just going to start by adding this acrylic ink just all over our dry gel press plate. And I'm just using some neon colors that I think I bought at Walmart a long time ago. I honestly can't remember, but I'm just using a neon pink and a neon blue and a neon green and just having fun and putting just probably 2 to 3 droppers full all across. And now I'm going to take a squirt bottle, and you want to squirt close so that you can start moving and letting that ink naturally begin to blend. I'm going to be using just some cold pressed watercolor paper for today's project and just putting it down and lightly tapping it. Don't be aggressive with your little taps because with the water it gets a little movie, little squirrely, so you don't want to end up with a big smoosh of color. We want to keep those colors where they just kind of blend on the edges and don't necessarily obliterate the colors. I did let it sit for just a couple of moments because I really wanted it to absorb into that thick paper so that all the paint would come up off of my gel press plate. And look how fun that is. Because it's a little thicker, it's an acrylic ink, it gives you kind of all of those blends. And now I went ahead and just cleaned off my plate so that we can move to the next section. Now we're going to be playing with water-soluble crayons. I'm going to be using Neo colors, and I'm going to start by prepping my gel press plate with a spritz of water and then picking out the colors that I decided to use. And then you're just going to take your crayons, whichever brand you decide to use, and just give them some scribbles here and there. You can also see back behind it that I've got some, what is it? Oh, the Glad Press and Seal paper behind, just to kind of protect my desk and protect my surface from all the water we'll be using today. You can use whatever you would like, a trash bag, some wax paper, deli paper, whatever happens to work for you. I just happen to have that handy. And you can see I'm just scribbling in those areas. And if you need to, just take that water bottle again and just give it a nice little spritz if you feel like it's not rubbing really well. If it's maybe had time to dry while you were scribbling somewhere else. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to take our watercolor paper and we're just going to lay it flat on top of it. And again, gentle with our pressing because we do have a lot of water going on there and we don't want our plate or our paper to start sliding. And like I said with the first one, I like to give it just a moment just to kind of rest on there so that all of the water and all of the color comes up. And you can see using these water-soluble crayons gives you just a beautiful, dreamy mix of colors. And of course, we don't want to leave that paint left there. So I'm taking just a piece of regular copy paper just to get what would be our ghost print. And even that's beautiful. I mean, it's got some grungy white streaks in it. All right, so let's move on to ink tint blocks. So we're going to be using a very similar or pretty much the exact same process for this. So pre-wetting our plate and then just taking our ink tints blocks and scribbling. If you're not familiar with these, what's great about these and how they differ from the other ones is even though we're using the same process and they're water activated, these are actually blocks of ink, hence the name. So when this dries, this project background will actually be permanent, which will allow me to add tons of other layers and not worrying about messing up my background. I love these. The colors are amazing. They're vibrant. And the fact that they're permanent when dry just makes them extra special in my book. So we just placed that watercolor paper on top of that again, letting it rest, letting it marinate for a second so that the watercolor paper absorbs all of that yummy paint by way of that water that we put down. and giving it a nice little rub. I kind of did like an army kind of situation here. So there's some yellows, some army greens, some lime greens. You can see you get that little line of kind of pulled paint. That's just because I'm pulling the piece of paper up slowly. If I did it faster, it wouldn't hang out on the edge as much. Lesson learned as I was doing this. So once again, just getting up the rest of that so that I have a fairly clean plate for our next section. And just kind of letting that sit while I was gathering some supplies for the next one and giving it a nice pull. And again, it's just an extra little something something that we might be able to use later. All right, so our fourth and final, we are going to be playing with good old-fashioned Kids Craft washable markers. So some of these are crazy art, some of them are Crayola. They're a little bit of whatever I just happened to grab. And this time we're actually going to keep our plate dry and just scribble with our markers all over it. You can see that my plate is well loved, and that's why it has that little bit of a darker color. That's just from using various mediums, but it doesn't affect my plate or my print qualities. It just shows that I love my gel press. And once we've got our scribbles down, I'm just taking that water bottle, spraying it on there again. I apologize, I keep hitting the cord to my camera. I need to move it. And again, same thing, just plopping that paper down on, giving it a nice little rub, letting it marinate there for just a minute to get all of that inky, yummy goodness kind of pulled up. This is a super fun project for kids because what kid doesn't just like to scribble and spray water? I mean, so fun, right? So then we're going to pull it up. Look how bright and vibrant those colors are. I absolutely love them. So I hope today will inspire you to just to have some watercolor fun. I'm personally not super great at watercoloring, so I really love this idea because it gives me that watercolor feel without overthinking it and without a lot of work. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and have an amazing day. Talk to you later. Bye.